don't think Manchester City are going to get more comfortable 90 minutes all season. Newcastle have just went to Manchester City and done nothing. How wrong were we? I actually went into this game thinking, we've got a chance here. We've got a chance here. Boy, our players didn't even believe we could get a draw, never mind a result. Now, I don't know where to start with that because we started that first half, especially the first 20 minutes, so slowly, showing Manchester City too much respect. Now, teams have set a blueprint on how to beat Manchester City. Energy, aggression, committing bodies forward, intense pressure, getting at them. We had none of that today. We're sat back, we're passive, in and out of possession. Manchester City just moved the ball around us and we were just chasing shadows. We were diabolical in that first half. Letting runners run off with. We weren't closing down space, closing down the ball. We just let Manchester City play that game like it was an expedition game. We did exactly what you shouldn't do at Manchester City. They've shown a vulnerability in defensive transitions. Usually we're so good at being direct, being quick in transitions, but we're seeing none of that today. In the first half, we couldn't even string two passes together. Didn't even create a chance. I think our XG in the first half was 0.07. I think that's the lowest it's been for Newcastle United this season. Alexander Isak should have played on Kusanov. When I was watching the first half, Alexander Isak was playing off John Stones. Now, I was thinking in my head, Kusanov is a young, inexperienced centre-back. He's only just come into the league. Just play off him. Make his life live in hell. Run off him. Make him facing his own goal. Like Chelsea did in the first opening 10 minutes of their game. They forced him into a mistake. That's what I wanted to see from Isak, because Isak can bully people when he gets going. But it looked like Newcastle just didn't get going today. No team cohesion, no chemistry. There was no communication. We just looked like we were going through the motions at Manchester City. Omar Marmoush just had a field day in that first half. We lack concentration. And I said that I was worried about this because against Southampton, against Fulham, against Bournemouth, we've shown this ability just in certain moments just to switch off. And that's exactly what we're doing. Man City probably couldn't believe how easy it was. We offered nothing defensively or offensively in that first half. Look, passive, disinterested, mentally just not even there. We might have been there physically, but mentally we're just elsewhere. And it just blew my mind because, yes, we've had poor games this season, but they've never come against the big teams. We've beaten Tottenham away. We've done the double over Arsenal and beaten them away from home. Beaten Manchester United away from home. We beat Chelsea at home. We drew with City at home. So against the bigger teams, we normally keep our concentration and up our level to their level. But today we just didn't have any of that. It was just a passive performance. We never looked like we could believe we could win this game. And I don't want to hear that they've got one eye on the final because the final's still weeks away. You can't be thinking about that when we've got Manchester City and we're trying to qualify for Champions League football. This game was huge because we're level on points, level on the same wins, level on the same draws, level on the same losses, level on goal difference. Now we've just given Man City a 3-point lead. But however, one thing I will say is Manchester City can go out and spend 200 million in the January transfer window. We haven't even bought a player for our senior team in the past 3 windows. And I think that just goes to show the gulf in the finances between the two clubs. Omar Marmoush, who came in the transfer window, was absolutely fantastic today in that first half, especially. In the second half, Manchester City could drop off. They could drop down the gears because they knew they wouldn't be in trouble. I can't even find the words for that game. It was like an expedition game. Omar Marmoush just cut through it. He was finding so much space, freedom. He took his goals beautifully. He really showed his class today. We couldn't even string 2 passes together in that first half. I thought Trippier looked miles off of it. Runners just running off him. He didn't know whether to go to his man or come inside. Just couldn't get that positional sense. Joe Willock is not the type of player for this type of game at all. This is why I wanted Lewis Miley to start. And I thought in the second half, we did improve slightly without looking great. Lewis Miley give us more stability, composure, and control in the middle. He should have started over Joe Willock because Joe Willock's not the right profile for this type of game. He's not. He doesn't get on the ball and dictate play. He doesn't offer you anything defensively. He wants to make things happen in the final third. He wants to ghost into space, arriving into space at the right time and receive the ball. That's his type of game. That's not what we needed today. Big Joe Linton was a big miss today. We missed his enforcer type of player in that midfield. Somebody that will just battle hard, get about the pitch, dictate the tempo, slow their game down, break up attacks. Somebody like that were missed in our midfield. The tempo picked up slightly in the second half with the inclusion of Lewis Miley. I thought Tino looked better than Trippier when he come on. So we did improve slightly in the second half without looking great. But I've got to mention, I've been so complimentary of Bruno and Sandro Tonali over this season, but today they were non-existent. They just looked like they didn't have the effort, they didn't have the energy to do anything. And I don't know if that's because the games have been piling up and it's maybe one too many games. I don't buy into that. These players are looked after very, very well. They get the right conditions to keep themselves in peak condition. And yes, you can have off days, but these off days are starting to creep in one too many times. So I thought we did slightly improve the second half. We conceded 3 in the first half against Omar Marmoush. James McAtee came on and scored in the second half. And by the way, James McAtee is really starting to impress me. And we were linked to him. I'd be happy to bring him in at Newcastle United because even when he's coming on in small cameos for Manchester City, he's making a difference. But do you want to know who I thought caused us so many problems today with his ball playing ability? Edison. His ball playing ability today was absolutely elite. Just picking out passes, just causing us problems, switching the play, facilitating attacks, breaking through the lines. And what Manchester City did brilliantly, they were pushing their fullbacks up high, using them as decoys to create space in the middle. And this is exactly what I pointed out they would do. This is Pep Guardiola's new style of play. We didn't switch on to that. And again, we just didn't look organised. We didn't look like whether we were going in a man-to-man press or we were trying to keep a shape and invite City on to catch them on the break. I thought we were caught in the two minds a little bit. It was flat, no tempo, and definitely had no belief that we would come and win this game. And we have big players in our squads that step up in big moments. Alexander Isak, Anthony Gordon, Bruno, Tonali. They're our go-to players, but they just weren't at it today. It's okay if one isn't at it because the others step up, but all 4 of them just weren't good enough today. I can accept getting beat at Manchester City. That's not the problem because we've got a terrible record at the Etihad, but it's when there's no fight, no belief, looks like there's no organization or instructions from the manager. That's when you start to get worried. These performances are starting to creep in more and more often now. Against Bournemouth, against Fulham. We look dodgy against Southampton despite getting a result. Now Manchester City. So these games are starting to creep in more and more often now. We play like that in the cup final, we'll get absolutely battered by Liverpool. And if we don't pick up our performances in the second half of the season, there's no chance for us finishing top 5 because Bournemouth have won today as well. So they're starting to creep up on us. Chelsea got beat, but I've got no doubt they'll come back fighting. So we need to pick up our performances. It's not all about the cup final because if we qualify for Champions League, that is absolutely huge for us. Going forward in terms of revenue, but also player recruitment in the summer. So it's vital we pick up 3 points next game. Now, against Manchester City, you probably look at that at the beginning of the season and say, we're not going to win there. So I understand getting beat, but it's the manner of the defeat that disappointed me. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you make up? Let us know in the comments below what you made of that performance. And also, is it something to be worried about? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, away the lads.